So if I were a CMO or if I were a CFO or a CEO listening to this conversation on marketing, the normal challenge that I say is, why are you overspending? Okay. If I were a CMO, my argument to the board would be, actually, you're not spending enough, right?
Right.
So therefore, how do you really look at the balance between not spending and overspending? And you have done a lot of work around that area, and what have been your learnings out of it?
Yeah, it's a terrific question. It's whom you ask is the question. And that's why you should not ask people with vested interest. So the CEO wants to cut the budget to improve profitability. So that is his motivation, his or hers. May not do it, but ideally a penny saved is more valued than penny spent. If you talk about the CMO, he says, it's not my money. It's not my company. I'm not a shareholder. And so what does it mean, penny saved? I get my salary anyway, whether I save the penny or spend the penny, right? And so investor is not on the table. Who cares about this? But CEO is the representative of the investor. And so the CEO cares. The CMO does not have that responsibility that he should improve the profit. He may have dotted line responsibility, but he doesn't have to go and answer the investor or the board that, why is my dividend yield going to drop this month or this year? He doesn't get fired because of that. And so the CEO, CMO would want more money to be spent because increased money always gives you increased sales or at least as much. So if I double, if I double the advertising budget, it will only increase my sales or stay the same. If I further double, it will only increase my sales. So his axe grinds in one way. More is better. The CEO doesn't have that issue. CEO has to balance. He understands that more is better up to a point. Then more is not any better because there is more drain on the cash because of spending, and there is no corresponding increase in sales that you're giving it, and that's because of the diminishing returns law. So if you keep spending, sales will increase, but at a slower rate.
Correct.
And so at some point it's going to saturate. And that is a sweet spot, which is what the model can discover.
Okay.
The CEO cannot discover, the CMO cannot discover, a third party modeler can discover, always exist, can be found, but if you don't have access to the data, it cannot be quantified and tailored for you.
Beautiful.
Okay? And so idea is to tailor it for the company in the context in which this advertising sales is happening. It's going to be a different number for every different company and every different province or state or every different time period, every year. And so a software needs to be designed with a dashboard that says you're overspending. If you do not have such a dashboard telling you you're overspending, how would you know? It is like the speed limit. You are driving the car and it doesn't tell you speedometer that you're doing 80 miles or you're doing 40 miles. And so how will you know that you're crossing the 65 miles per hour zone, which is considered to be the right speed? And so there must be some board that says 65 miles and you're going up. So you only know your speedometer, whether you're going fast or slow. You do not know that you're crossing the speed limit.
Beautiful.
And the speed limit is the model. And so some third party, not the driver. Driver always thinks I'm going sufficiently slow. It is the passenger who is like, okay.
So clearly, therefore, in the marketing organization, in the finance organization, or in the CEO's office, or in the corporate strategy office, the need for actually I would say a marketing auditor, if you were to call it, is really what I think that you're talking about, where you're really looking at the data dispassionately. And saying, you know what, I think here is a 0.5x that you guys need to spend because it has a short-term impact, but it has got a long-term value. Right? So therefore, that kind of a marketing auditor is really what is critical in organizations, who can sit out of the marketing department, who could sit out of the finance department, but the idea is to kind of look at it dispassionately and say, this is really what is critical. And organizations with marketing capability and intent need to create that.
Correct. So you need some ombudsman.
Perfect.
who can balance both the views. Because both views of CMO and CEO are valid and justified by business practices.
Yeah.
So it's not like the CMO is acting against the company's interest.
Yeah.
Everyone is acting in the company's interest. The question is the proper weight.
Yeah.